Hey everyone, Cathie Wood has been loading up on Rocket Lab USA stock, and in this video I'm going to answer if you should be loading up on that growth stock too. I'm going to look at the company's recent developments. I'm going to look at its prospects. Of course, the space economy is projected by some analysts to be worth $1 trillion by the year 2030. I'm going to incorporate all of that and compare it with Rocket Lab's financial metrics and its valuation to answer if you too should be loading up on this explosive Cathie Wood growth stock.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
First, let me show you how much Cathie Wood has been buying of this growth stock. Here you have RKLB Rocket Lab, a buy from Cathie Wood, 255,000 shares. If we go further down, we see another buy on December 29th, 116,000 shares. So you can see Cathie Wood has been loading up on this growth stock, and Cathie Wood has known to be investing in these potentially explosive growth stocks with high innovative capabilities, not yet profitable, but Cathie Wood is willing to take a chance and she's willing to invest in these growth stocks with potential, high risk, high reward potential. Let's take a closer look at Rocket Lab to see if it makes sense for you. So one of the things I like about Rocket Lab is it's got a backlog of orders. You can see here from the second quarter to the third quarter of 2023, its backlog of orders increased from, you see, 39 and 22 million for space systems and launch up to 46 million and 21 million, a quarter over quarter increase of 9% to 68 million in backlog. That means there are orders and there's money for Rocket Lab to make so long as it continues to make progress, it continues to have successful launches, which in September we saw is not always the case. This isn't going to be 100% accuracy, 100% completion for the company. So the management saying that the increase came from growth in the satellite business. And you could see that here the growth was primarily from the satellite business. And the gross margin was also falling due to driven a one-time favorable increase of a 4.1 million launch loss reserve in the second quarter. So it has orders, and of course, you know of the recent news, the government contract that Rocket Lab won that should support the company's launch schedule for a couple of years later. So the key for Rocket Lab is going to be to continue to hit milestones. It needs to keep hitting these milestones to keep making progress. 2024 is going to be the year where it's got the potentially higher payload capacity, which could increase the revenue per launch, and that could be a game changer that could boost Rocket Lab's revenue by multiples. Let's look at how revenue has grown so far. So since July of 2021, if you look at trailing 12-month revenue, 236 million, up from a little over 50 million in July of 2021. Of course, Rocket Lab, one of the main competitors of privately held SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, and the two are proving that the market opportunity is there. There is demand for these services, and the 2030 target of 1 trillion, I suspect, will grow from there. If the market does reach 1 trillion by 2030, I think there will be another exponential growth between 2030 and 2040, because if it grows by that much, it means there's strong demand for these services, for these launch services and space, the space economy overall. And I think from there it can expand even more. It's just in the very early innings, and Rocket Lab is one of the ways that investors can invest in this brand new, really brand new economy. One of the things that troubles me about Rocket Lab is the mounting losses. Operating income over the trailing 12 months fell to a 167 million negative. That was down from the 70 million negative in July of 2021. Now, I don't mind to see companies losing money, especially innovative growth companies like Rocket Lab. This is literally rocket science. So I don't mind to see these companies losing money. But what I do like to see is progress. I want to see upward movement. I want to see these losses shrinking as revenue grows. So what I would like to see is as this revenue is growing, I would like to see these losses turn around. It can still be negative, but I want to see it turn at least shrinking negative as it grows. However, this is still in the very early stages, so it is understandable that it is losing money. I do see some turnaround from the company's cash flow from operations. So you see the cash flow from operations trailing 12 months, it was falling down to 110 million at the worst point, but it's improved down to 75.6 million in the latest trailing 12-month period. So the losses in terms of cash flow have diminished, and that's good news. That's one sign that the company is getting better at what it does, and the revenue growth is leading to shrinking cash outflow from operations. That's good news. That demonstrates that if the company's revenue grows as it is expected to grow in 2024, that these cash flow from operations losses could shrink. In fact, let's discuss the next 2-year expectations for Rocket Lab. So according to analysts, Rocket Lab's revenue is expected to grow from 250 million in 2023 up to 432 million in 2024 and then up to 632 million in 2025. That growth rate is rapid. Let me show you what rate of growth that is. That's 72% growth in 2024 and 46% growth in 2025. So 2 more years of rapid revenue growth expected from Rocket Lab. Analysts expect this company to continue to receive contracts, to continue to make successful launches, and that to lead to increasing revenue growth. The next thing I wanted to check out is Rocket Lab's balance sheet. And according to its balance sheet, it's in relatively good shape. 288 million in cash and short-term investments and 105 million in total long-term debt. That means it can pay off its long-term debt and still have 183 million in cash and short-term investments left over. Also, you want to look at its cash balance relative to its cash outflow. So you could see over the trailing 12 months, negative 75 million in cash outflow. If you break that down on a monthly basis, that's roughly a 7 million or 6.5 million monthly cash burn. And then you compare that with its cash balance of 288 million. That's a long runway, 30, 40 months of cash available for Rocket Lab. 30, 40 months is a long time given the pace of innovation Rocket Lab is achieving. By that time, it could have, we looked at the revenue, how much revenue is expected to grow from its current point to that point. It could be in a better position. It could be in a position where it's no longer having cash flowing out from operations, where it turns at least cash flow neutral and it's not going through cash every month. It's actually just sustaining itself. It's not increasing, it's not decreasing, it's just sustaining while it's making these innovative milestones, these innovative achievements. So cash, not too much of a concern here. Of course, with companies that are losing so much money and so new in terms of technology, it's always a concern. But the company has 288 million, and relative to the cash burn, it's okay. And finally, I wanted to look at the valuation. Rocket Lab trading at a forward price to sales of 4.036. The cheapest you've been able to buy Rocket Lab stock according to this metric, going back all the way to about late 2021, early 2022, when it was trading at forward price to sales closer to 36, 30, in that range. So you can understand why Cathie Wood is investing in this growth stock. It fits her profile so well. It's super innovative. It's achieving these milestones, gaining revenue, attracting customers, and really rocket science. It's like the epitome of innovative technology, and Cathie Wood is known for investing in these innovative growth stocks. But should you buy Rocket Lab stock right now and load up on it the way Cathie Wood is? I would say only for those investors that are very risk seeking, that are risk tolerant. You can tolerate the fact that this stock might go down by 10% in one day or 20% in one day if it reports some kind of failure or a failure to launch or some contract cancellation or some contract that it fails to get. These items will cost the company's stock price in a day up or down 10-20%. So you must be willing to accept the volatility if you want to be invested in Rocket Lab stock. So if you're willing to absorb the riskiness of Rocket Lab and you're a risk tolerant investor, it might be right for you. If you liked the video you just saw and you want to see more just like it, please subscribe to the channel. I can't keep this channel free without the support of viewers like you. And if you're already subscribed, thank you, and I appreciate your support.